Business guidance is a fancy way of saying this is a video about how to work. And you're gonna have a wide variety of questions when you find out that you're a generator or a manifesting generator and you're told that you're here to work. You're gonna have questions like, well, what are the other types for? Well, what does work mean? Well, does everybody have to work? Am I an employee? Do I have to have really the question that you're gonna have is, do I have to have a shitty job? Do I kind of get like the brunt of the workload? Let me explain to you what it means to work because you're an energy type. If you have the sacral center defined, you are considered the most pure, the most true energy type. You're someone who's able to make consistent life force energy. Life force energy lives in the sacral center, which means that the generator and the manifesting generator are the core of life on the planet. So you are an energy type. You are here to put your energy into things. Now the question is, do you have energy? When you have energy, it's because you've had a response to putting your energy into something. That's what work is. It's a response to putting your energy into something. So the first question is, what do you have a response to putting your energy into? What are you spending your energy on? Now, in order to have a defined sacral, it has to have a channel coming off of it that connects to another center. You might even have multiple channels. One of the first things I'm going to talk about is circuitry, because within circuitry, there's a keynote, and that keynote gives you a huge clue about what kind of work you're here to do. So coming off of your sacral center, there are an assortment of channels available, and they will either be an individual circuitry, tribal circuitry, or collective circuitry. If your channel is in individual circuitry, you're here to empower somebody with your energy. If you have tribal circuitry, you're here to support. And I was like, what is the word I'm gonna say? Because I wanted to do this. In the middle of the body graph, there are two channels, the 2750 and the 59-6. We've got preservation and mating. Both of those make the tribal cradle. There's a support element for the family involved. Or you're gonna have a collective channel. If you're collective, you're here to share. So depending on the circuitry attached to your sacral center, you are either here to empower, support, or share. Okay, now in order to work, you have to have energy to work with. In order to have energy, you have to have a response to the work. In order to have a response, you gotta be asked, do you want to do this? Do you want to do this thing or this thing? The point is to get an answer out of you. We don't know if you have the energy to work unless you're asked. And then you will either have a yes, which can look like bringing your body forward into the activity. It can sound like, It can sound like, fuck yeah. It can sound like, ooh. If I hear those things from a generator, I'm like, ooh, signs are pointing towards, ooh, I'm into this. Ooh, I'm responding to this. Ooh, I have energy to put into this. But if I ask you something like, do you want to do this? And I get a, or a, or a no, or a, see how my body goes backwards? I can tell a little bit of my taste cognition is mixed in there with my a little bit extra mouthy, you know? But if I ask a sacral person something and the answer I get is kind of deflated, kind of crumply, there's no energy available. This isn't something that you're gonna wanna do for work because there's no energy available to do it. There's a good chance that you already have a job, but is it the right job for you? Do you like your job? Do you find it satisfying? Or does it frustrate the hell out of you? When you wake up the next morning, how do you feel about your job? Do you have this want to go back out and put your energy into it? Are you excited about it? Does it get you out of bed in the morning? Or is it like, you know, do you dread it? Do you loathe it? If that's how you feel about your job, you're in the wrong job. That can be a really scary thing, especially if you've spent a lot of time building the job that you have, especially if you don't have any alternatives, especially if you're not responding to anything else. That can be really scary, but it doesn't mean that we're going to ignore the fact that you're having no response to the work that you're doing. Because if you're having no response, as in a no response, there's no energy available here for this, I'm frustrated, I'm tired, I'm burnt out. If that's the energy that you have about your job, this is a really bad sign. Not only does it mean that you're not making energy, it means that you're robbing energy from somebody else. This is not good. This is not healthy. This is how we head towards autoimmune conditions. Now, when we describe the aura, we typically give it a space and a shape. Your aura is round. It's circular. It's spherical. It's 3D, you know, it's spherical. 6 feet, spherical in nature, open and enveloping. Generator aura is like a big hug. It wraps things. It encloses them. It's very comforting. Now, let's take you out of the sphere for a second. Let's put you in a cube. And the reason that I'm going to put you in a cube is because I want you to think about an area on the ground that you cover with your own energy. Now, when I talk about sacral beings being the builders of the Maia, I want you to have this visual that the ground underneath your aura is something that you're gardening. I want you to think that when you are in a fertile, responsive, satisfied kind of place, that you are nurturing everything below you. You are tending the ground around you. When you walk over the grass, it gets greener. That's what I want you to think about when I say that you build the Maia. When you build your life from a place of satisfaction, it's like you are a gardener walking all over and upping the health, upping the vibrancy, upping the fertility, upping the energy, the growth of everything. But if you're in a place where you're not making energy, because you're not doing the things that you have a response for, because you're doing all these, I should do this, I have to do this, and I'm totally drained, and I'm totally depleted, and I'm totally exhausted, then you're not someone who's growing that zone beneath you. You're someone who, when you walk over top of it, you're sucking in the remaining health of the place that's still there. You're pulling the nutrients out of the ground. The flowers are dying as you're walking by because you're taking their life force, because you need it, because you're depleted. That's what I want you to think about when I say that sacral beings are here to build the Maia. When you go through a place with your energy, do you leave it in a better place of growth because your energy allowed that to happen? Or was it this place of depletion? If this is where you are, we can do better. We can do better for you. Now, are there going to be times in your work where you don't love it? You're not like over the moon about your job, but you're not necessarily frustrated. You're not thinking that you're in such a negative place to the point that you're going to quit your job, but you know that things could go better for you. Sometimes all you need is a redirect. Sometimes you just need someone to come in that you trust to see you, to ask you questions, to refine your work or redirect your work, or honestly, just help you get rid of the things that are a part of your work that don't necessarily need to be. There's a good likelihood that you've taken on like an extension of your job that isn't actually something that you're having a response for, so we can probably refine the work that you're doing so that we can get rid of the depleting things and we can boost up the satisfying things that are going to help you make more energy. I'm going to talk on something a little bit bigger, a little bit more important, a little bit more depth in terms of why a lot of generators and manifesting generators don't want to turn up their sacral energy, why they don't want satisfaction. And it's not something that they're consciously aware of. This definitely applies to women more than it applies to men. You'll understand why in a minute. Most generators do not have a turned on sacral. Most generators have not been supported, empowered, encouraged to go after the things that they have a response for, to only put their energy into things that they have a response for. A lot of them are in the shoulda, coulda, woulda, I'm gonna drain myself and do the things that I think I'm supposed to do place. So what I'm saying is most generators are not these amplified, magnetic, attractive creatures. A lot of them are in this place of depletion, scarcity, pushing things away. They're not very attractive. The magnet isn't very strong. Now, when I do work with a generator and I help them turn up the magnet, I get them to say no to the things that they have a no response for and a yes to the thing that they have a yes response for. One of the things that ends up happening there is they start to attract a lot more. Now, you take a generator who is not used to actually attracting the things that they want to respond to. When they start to attract those things, it's a little bit scary. Here's the thing. You're not used to getting attention, and suddenly you're getting a lot of attention. And part of the attention that you're getting is because of this fertile, sexual, sacral energy. So as women generators, female generators, amp up that sacral center, they become more sexually attractive, or that's what it presents as to the outer world. And what ends up happening is that, well, they're hoping to, maybe call in some business. What they end up calling in is some creep hitting on them because they're exuding this satisfied energy. If you are a generator or manifesting generator who has experienced sexual trauma, you're going to be a lot more resistant to turning up that sacral energy because it is going to attract a more sexual attention. I want to prepare my clients for this because they can do all of this work and their goal is to pull things in their business, but they end up pulling in things that are not necessarily their intention. And then phase 2 of my work happens, which is helping them set up boundaries, really helping them enforce the no, I don't want that. No, I'm not interested in that. No, I don't have a response for that. So as you turn up the volume on things to respond to, the thing is, you start to call in a net full of things that maybe you don't particularly want. So the more you hype up that magnet, the more boundaried you have to be so that you can keep things away from you that shouldn't have any access to your energy. Now, what role does a projector have getting involved in sacral business? My job's efficiency. Projectors, we only exist really to bring efficiency to systems. We want to make your job easier, and as a way to understand how you feel about your job, we don't have defined sacral centers. You come near me, I'm going to amplify you, and I'm going to be able to tell you whether you're satisfied or whether or not you're frustrated. But I can also tell you, if satisfaction is your goal, the fastest way to get there is to get rid of the things that frustrate you. And if you're not as satisfied as you want to be in your business, there's a good chance that you're doing too many things that are frustrating you. There's more that we can clear off your plate that you don't have energy for, that's taking away from the energy that you do have for the things that you're actually going to be satisfied by. If you don't know what you should be doing in any given time, do a question and response episode. Have a list of questions. Have somebody ask them to you so that you can actually have a response. Do you want to work on this task? Do you want to stop? Do you want to pivot? Do you need to go for a walk and come back to this? Do you want to work on this thing? Do you have energy for this? And you will actually have your own answer. And when you have your own answer, you have a very clear direction on what you should be doing with yourself. Finally, we're going to end on our own question and response episode. I'm going to ask you a very short series of questions. Let's see how you respond, and let's see how that changes what you think about how you're working. Question 1, do you have a job? Question 2, do you get paid for your job? Question 3, do you get paid enough for your job? Question 4, is your job satisfying? Question 5, is your job frustrating? Question 6, have you gotten more energy the longer you've had this job? Question 7, have you developed any health problems since having this job? Question number 8, do you sleep better after being done this job? Question 9, that's 9, right? 9, do you like the environment of your job? Question 10, do you want a different job? Question 11, do you have someone to talk to about your job? Question 12, do you want someone to talk to about your job? Last question, do you want me to ask you questions about your job? If you have a yes, you can work with me. You can find instructions how to work with me in the description below. I'll see you next time.